Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This week I have the Enacfire A9 true wireless buds for you. These budget-friendly earbuds have active noise cancelling and some other useful features too, so let's get into the details right now. The Enacfire A9 have a stem-style design, but the stems are shorter and less AirPod-like than usual, and that's something I personally like. So the buds are small, and since they are made entirely of lightweight, matte black plastic, they only weigh around 4.2 grams each, which makes them one of the lightest earbuds I have ever tested. There is nothing fancy about their look, but the build quality is great, and the buds are IPX7 rated, which comes in handy during sweaty workouts or when you get caught in a shower while running outside. The higher than average IP rating also helps with keeping the buds clean, as you can easily rinse them under tap water occasionally. Because the buds are so light and the stems are short, the comfort is first class and you get a snug fit too. The buds sit nicely in my ears, not too deep to be uncomfortable, but they also don't stick out too much to be annoying, such as some other stem designed buds do. I did a bit of running with the A9 and I found them really secure and comfortable, so Enacfire indeed created something that could be of interest to the more active people too. There are 3 pairs of ear tips in the box altogether, so you can get the best fit possible for yourself. The battery case is a tiny one and definitely pocket friendly. However, the build quality is not my favorite. The lid is loose and the case already has tons of scratch marks on it after only a couple of weeks of use, and that's not something you want to see. But the buds are securely held inside by magnets, so they are safe. It's relatively easy to take out the buds from the case, and you'll probably need to use the case more often than not, as the buds can only last for about 4.5–5 hours with ANC turned on and for about 6 hours with ANC off. The total battery life is 32 hours with the case, which has a USB-C port on the bottom, but it's not compatible with wireless chargers, so cables are the only way to go. I've seen better battery performance for the same price, but the buds are indeed tiny and lightweight, so that's a trade-off you will have to make. But in the context of its direct competitors, there are some buds with better battery life, such as the Tozo NC7 or the Soundbeats T2, both of which have 10 hours of runtime on a single charge, but the total playtime of 32 hours is on par with both. The only scenario when the shorter single charge battery life can be a real disadvantage is all-day use in an office, for example. But other than that, once the case is fully charged, you are good and you keep the buds inside the case most of the time anyway. But as soon as you take them out of that case, the buds will want to connect to some device of yours, and the Enacfire A9 delivered the average performance of their class as far as connection goes. We get Bluetooth 5.0 along with the SBC and the AAC codecs. Pairing is quick and I had not experienced any connection issues with my phone, tablet or laptop either. No delay at all with movies, only when you use the buds with older laptops such as my 2017 MacBook Pro, which uses Bluetooth 4.2, so it was the bottleneck and not the Enacfire A9. The movie watching experience was perfectly fine on my more up-to-date Android phone and iPad as well, except for games, as there is some delay when playing games on a phone. Your mileage might vary, but if you need earbuds with the lowest latency possible, then the A9 might not be your best bet. You can use the buds independently from each other, and the single bud mode works very well. Switching between the two buds is so seamless that music playback won't even pause, not for 1 millisecond, so that's good. And when it comes to phone calls, the quality is excellent thanks to the mics at the bottom of each stem, which can deliver full-bodied and loud voices with great clarity. But even though we have 2 mics on each bud along with environmental noise cancellation tech on board, speech intelligibility suffers big time when we find ourselves making a phone call with noise around us. This is the sound of a cafe interior with people and chatter around me, and for your reference, this is what it sounds like through the Rode NTG5 microphone in front of me. Now let's switch to street noise on the speakers behind me, and as you can hear, the A9 performed better in this scenario. Less noise and more of my own voice get through, and that's what we want when making a phone call on the street, isn't it? So again, for your reference, this is what the street noise sounds like through the Rode NTG5. And this was the mic quality test of the Enacfire A9. Next up are controls. We get touch controls on each stem. Their functionality is perfect and their usability is great too. You get play, pause, track forward and backward, volume up and down, voice assistant, phone calls and ambient mode controls. And all of these are available at the same time, so no compromises have been made there. The controls are easy to use, reaction times are fast enough. Maybe the volume controls could be a tad faster, but that's almost always the case with the touch and hold action on earbuds. They usually are slower than the rest of the controls. But at the end of the day, it's called touch and hold for a reason. Since we don't get an app where we could customize the controls, we are stuck with the layout, but that's not a problem, and again, this is what you usually get in this price range in terms of controls. What you also tend to get for around $50 or $60 euros or pounds is in-ear sensors and autoplay pause, but the A9 do not offer such feature. This is no big deal to me. I'd rather have full functionality and no autoplay pause than having crippled controls with in-ear sensors. Of course, it would be great to have it all, and some of the competition indeed has all these functions, but these are budget-friendly earbuds after all, so one cannot expect them to deliver all the goodies. But active noise cancelling is something we have come to expect recently even on more affordable earbuds such as the Enacfire A9, and they do not disappoint us. The ANC blocks out transportation and traffic noise quite efficiently. According to my tests, where I played airplane cabin noise on my desktop speakers and set the bass SPL to around 85 decibels, turning on ANC decreased the sound pressure level by around 15 to 16 decibels, which is a strong average performance in the category. And walking on the street with traffic around me just confirmed these results, as I got a decent level of attenuation. Filtering out random higher pitch noises such as the human voice proves to be a tougher job though. The A9 can get rid of some of the hard edges and it can cut off some of the noise, but it's nowhere near as effective as it was with lower frequency noises. And these spikes between the ANC on and off measurements are what happens when you turn on ambient mode. And even though based on these measurements you would think that the earbuds amplify noises quite a lot in transparency mode, the reality is that it only really works at lower volume levels, so if you want to talk with someone, you are still better off taking the buds out or at least pause your music. But if you use the hear-through mode just so you can stay aware of what's going on around you, then it does a great job at that. So the ANC works well on the A9s and you can switch easily between ANC on, ANC off and ambient mode using a single tap action on the left bud. And now let's see what the 10mm polymer composite drivers sound like. Shortly, their sound is warm. That's because of the excess amount of bass which dominates the rest of the frequency range. This is a favorable sound signature for a lot of people, but I would love to hear a bit more balanced mids and more sparkling highs. No high frequency details are really missing, but I'd like to have a more open sound with a touch more air and presence maybe. Soundstage is a bit too narrow, everything sounds like coming from inside my head. Imaging is not the most precise, but we get a good enough separation between instruments. Thanks to the extra warmth in the sound, the buds are generally relaxing to listen to, no harshness is present at all. But the buds can go really loud, and that coupled with the extra powerful bass can provide a dynamic, blood-pumping background for your workouts too. So the buds can be both calming and energizing depending on what you want them to do, and that's a unique attribute to have. In fairness, these buds can sound good enough with all sorts of music, so at the end of the day I would call them great all-rounders. And the same can be said about the buds in general. The Enacfire A9 are great all-rounders. They are low profile, comfortable to wear and secure to exercise with. The IPX7 rating makes them safe to use basically anywhere, and thanks to their small footprint you can easily take them anywhere with you. Phone call quality is excellent, sound is good, and the active noise cancelling does its job in most situations. Battery life could be improved, but if I'm honest, the Apple AirPods Pro won't last any longer either. But forget the Apple AirPods Pros since they cost 3 or 4 times more, and let's see if the A9 can compete with similarly priced earbuds. In one word, of course they can. It's actually 4 words, but you know what I mean. There are a few earbuds that can outperform the A9 in active noise cancelling, such as the Soundcore Life A2 NC or the Earphone Air Pro, but these ones fall short in other areas such as ingress protection or the touch controls. I mentioned already that the Soundpeats T2 and the Tozo NC7 have better single charge battery life, but other than that, the A9 can deliver the general performance of both buds. So as always, it all comes down to your personal preference in terms of design, fit, comfort and sound. And in a few weeks time I plan to make a big shootout video where I can put all these affordable earbuds up against each other so you can have the complete picture before making a buying decision. But I'm done for today, so this was my review of the Enacfire A9 True Wireless Earbuds. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel would only prove how awesome you are. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Have a great day everyone. Thanks for watching. See you next time.